calm story to get to sleep. Welcome to Relaxation Audio with Candy, peaceful relaxation scripts for sleep, stress relief, and health. Sometimes it's nice to just listen to a calm story to help you fall asleep. This relaxation to get to sleep is a slow story with music to help you drift off to a deep, restful sleep. The story is about a person and a dog hiking in the mountains and flying on a glider. As you begin to relax, you can allow your mind to wander. Imagine a beautiful, relaxing place in the mountains. It is a calm summer morning. The sun has just recently risen and the air is cool. A person and a dog are walking on a path next to a lake. They are surrounded by mountains in the distance. The lake beside them is perfectly calm and still, its surface like glass. The water is an unreal shade of brilliant turquoise blue. The color becomes even brighter and more vibrant as the sun gets higher in the sky. The dog stops to take a drink of the cool, pure water. The pair continue to walk next to the water. The lake is on one side of the path, and trees are on the other. The path is mostly dirt, with some rocks and roots. The air is getting warmer as the sun rises higher. It is a beautiful day. The person and the dog keep walking, heading toward the end of the lake and the mountains ahead. As they get closer to the end of the lake, the forest opens up to reveal a valley where flowing streams meet the lake. The streams come from melting snow and glaciers in the mountains. The water melts, streaming down in small rivulets that merge together to create creeks and rivers. The person and the dog reach the end of the lake, and they continue walking parallel to a river of pure glacier water. The valley is rocky, and on either side are towering mountains. They walk through the valley, enjoying the solitude and tranquility. They slowly draw closer to the mountains ahead. There's a small stream to cross. The dog scampers through the shallow water, splashing happily. The person steps from stone to stone, staying dry. They reach the other side of the stream and continue through the valley. The sun shines down warmly. It is so warm and pleasant. Here it is so peaceful. There is no one around. Pure peace and calm. The person and the dog approach a hill at the end of the valley. A waterfall rushes down a rocky cliff face, and beside the waterfall is a path that weaves through the trees. They climb the hill, following the path as it switches back and forth, slowly gaining in elevation. Soon, the person and the dog reach the top of the hill. They follow the path out of the trees and reach a clearing at the top of the hill where the waterfall begins. A huge boulder creates a natural bridge over the stream, and the person and the dog climb over the boulder and reach the other side. They continue on their journey, following a rocky path next to the stream. They make their way through a rocky valley where the stream flows from the mountains ahead to the waterfall they just passed. The valley is open and sunny, with trees at each side, where the edges of the valley rise up to meet the base of the mountains. The person and the dog continue through this valley, walking along next to the stream and gradually gaining in altitude. The path turns off to the side of the valley, and the person and the dog follow the path into the trees. The path goes up a hill, and they continue to climb, following this path through the trees. They come to the edge of the forest and see that they are now high above the stream and the valley below. They admire the rocky valley far beneath them, watching the glittering stream wind its way through the rocks. The person and the dog follow the path into the trees again and continue to climb. They keep climbing, getting closer to the mountains. They are alone except for birds and the occasional deer. The animals look at them with curiosity before disappearing back into the trees. The person and the dog finally emerge from the forest at the base of a rocky mountainside. High above is a glacier clinging to the top of the mountain. Ahead, the path continues to wind its way skyward through the rocks and up the mountain. They continue to climb, crossing streams and climbing over rocks. Finally, they come to the edge of a glacier. There's a tunnel beneath the glacier where meltwater flows into a stream that goes down the mountain and eventually merges with the bigger stream and waterfall far below. Here at the glacier, water drips and flows as the snow melts. The tunnel is a beautiful blue color, the amazing shade of blue found in glacial ice. Orange sand and rocks at the bottom of the tunnel contrast beautifully with the blue ice and white snow above. The person and the dog stop here, and the dog drinks this ice-cold glacier water. They sit next to the water, cooling off in the shade and enjoying the cool air. It is so peaceful here. The person and the dog have lunch as they rest here next to the edge of the glacier. After lunch, the person and the dog decide to continue their ascent, and they proceed, walking over smooth rocks that have been polished by glaciers. They climb higher, climbing over rocks and boulders as they get closer to the top of the mountain. Finally, they reach the mountaintop. Here they're standing on clear, rocky ground. The mountain is surrounded by glaciers, creating a backdrop of brilliant white snow. In the distance, they can see the lake they passed at the start of their journey. It is brilliant turquoise blue, even from here. The lake is surrounded by green trees. The rocky valley stretches from the end of the lake into the foreground, and the stream in the distance appears as just a thin, shiny line. It is exhilarating to be here on this mountaintop, surrounded by beauty. The person and the dog sit here and enjoy the scenery and their accomplishment of climbing to the top of this mountain. They rest and relax. They sit and watch the birds flying, wings spread wide, drifting on currents of the wind. The birds rise high in the sky, higher than the mountaintop, without any apparent effort. They dip and turn, gliding effortlessly, rising and falling at will. Now from the mountaintop, the person and the dog get into the seat of a little glider. They get in where they're safe and secure, and launch from the top of the mountain. They approach the edge of the mountaintop, and then the glider goes right off the side of the cliff. With a brief lurch of fear, the person and the dog are airborne. The fear quickly disappears as the glider steadies and levels out. Like the birds, they glide effortlessly on the currents of air. It is like having wings. They turn, rising higher as they go in a circle over the mountaintop where they were just standing. They fly over a massive glacier, everything appearing completely white and brilliant below. They rise higher, flying over an even higher mountain, rising high into the blue sky. The person and the dog fly in this glider, rising on currents of air, turning and whisking along above the mountains. They turn again to pass over the mountain they climbed. Far below, they could see the path where they walked. They glide along, seeing the forest below. In the valley next to a stream, they see a bear, cautiously drinking from the stream. The bear raises his head to look at the glider, then turns and walks across the rocks toward the trees. The bear disappears into the forest. The person and the dog continue to fly, so free and peaceful. They fly toward the brilliant turquoise lake. The water glimmers in the distance, an almost unreal shade of blue. It is hard to believe that such an amazing color occurs in nature. They can see the waterfall below, and they fly over, getting closer to the top of the waterfall. As they reach the natural stone bridge, the ground and the water drop away into the valley below, and the person and the dog fly overhead. The dog pants happily. It is clear that the dog enjoys flying and the feeling of the wind. The person is happy too. Both feel so relaxed and free. They drift along above the stream and get closer to the lake. As they reach the lake, they are surrounded by turquoise blue water below, forests and mountains beside, and the brilliant blue sky above. The air is so clean and pure. A slight breeze blows, and they can see small waves on the water below. The entire lake glimmers in the sun. The glider rises on the breeze, gaining in altitude above the lake, swirling higher, higher. From here they circle, taking in the view in all directions. Brilliant white glaciers, gray rocks and boulders, green forests, aquamarine water. It is beautiful and peaceful. The person and the dog admire the scenery. A fluffy white cloud is ahead. They fly right through the cloud. It feels like fog, cool and damp. They are surrounded by bright white as the sun shines through the cloud. They emerge on the other side, now surrounded by brilliant sunshine and the bright blue sky. They drift along, enjoying the freedom and solitude of flying in the calm blue sky. The sun slowly inches lower in the sky, and it is near the mountaintops now. The person and the dog continue to drift in the glider, circling above the lake. The sun dips lower, disappearing above a high mountain. The sun's rays reach upward from the mountain, fanning out in brilliant orange and gold streaks. The glider drifts lower, slowly moving toward the lakeshore where the person and the dog started this day. As the sun goes down and the light gets lower, the glider slowly drifts toward the ground. They land on the shore next to the lake, a soft and gentle landing. The sky is still bright and is filled with beautiful colors from the setting sun. The sky is pink with purple, red, orange, and gold next to a bright sky blue. The colors reflect in the water, resulting in a deep turquoise background and the mirrored sunset and the mountains reflecting many beautiful colors. The person and the dog approach the door of a small cabin where they will stay. They go inside and have a nice meal while the last colors of sunset shine through the window. As the sky grows dark, it is time for bed. The dog climbs into a comfortable bed and immediately goes to sleep. The person gets into a comfortable bed and settles in under a big, soft blanket. The person is so sleepy, it is impossible to stay awake. The person easily falls asleep as images from the day continue into dreams. The person and the dog dream of standing on the mountaintop and admiring the scenery. They dream of gliding in the sky, drifting anywhere they want to go. It is a restful, peaceful sleep.